Importante. Kasi nagbago to na wala yung RTMP on. RTMP on. Okay, RTMP on. Going live. Okay, pa-check guys ulit if we are live
Mm,
in KUMU.
check
3,
it.
2, 1. Hello, yes. Good afternoon. Are we live right now? So, we are. Are we? Yes. Okay. So, hi to all of you.
Yes, okay. So hi to all of you.
Welcome
Yes, okay. So
welcome
hi.
to the Gen Z Show. We're just hearing now. I'm just hearing my voice. Okay. So welcome to the Gen Z Show. So my name is Floyd. With me today is, of course, no other than my co-host. That's
Hi guys,
who are
it's
you?
Jamie. Hello, happy Monday.
Yun. Happy Monday. So what's with the smile, Jamie? How's your Monday so far?
Because it's Monday. It's the start of a new week, new opportunity.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm really excited for this.
Yeah. So, kumbaga, for you, it's there's no such thing like a manic Monday. It's more of like you're excited. Your Mondays
I
is
chose
very
I
exciting.
chose not to stress out about it. I mean, my weekend have been really great. So
Yes.
I want to bring that positive energy this week. So I'm
And
smiling.
yeah, so we're talking about stress. We're talking about stress. So a lot of our kababayans right now, for those who are based in the Philippines, we're having a national transport strike. So a lot of our jeepney drivers, or actually majority of our jeepney drivers, they are on transport strike right now, as what di ba we have talked about a while ago. So we hope that our communicants watching us right now, if you are at work, you will not have hassle going home. And of course,
Yes.
I think a lot of our viewers as well, they're working from home today.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you guys get to enjoy your work from home. You know, Jeannie, my wife right now, she's on work from home for a week. So because of the transport strike.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because I've experienced that before, Sir Floyd. It
Yeah.
was really. Imagine me going, um, uh, traveling 2 hours and wala kang masasakyan. It's just a nightmare. But I
That's
hope
right.
everyone's safe right now. Those who went to their work today. Yeah. Take care,
Yeah.
everyone.
We don't want to give any political views about today's situation. We know that a lot of our drivers are they're fighting for something that they want to be heard by our government. But I think if I get to ask about one thing about this change is that it's inevitable. So I mean, everything changes. All of us must adapt to all of those changes. I mean, when the pandemic happened, a lot of companies have also adopted to a work from home and a hybrid work setup. And a lot of companies have been doing traditional work setup. They thought that they will not survive the situation, but regardless if they've got their new work setup, they were still able to adjust to all of these changes. So I think
Right.
that's one thing that I can say about change. Change is inevitable, so we
Correct.
just have to accept those things. No? So let's go far from today's topic. So we're going to talk about women empowerment through upskilling, closing the
Yeah.
gender gap in the workspace. No? So Jamie, why is this topic important for you?
Well, as for me, I think this is a very important issue because it affects women around the world. If I'm, and it's one of the issues that is hard to really discuss, but we want to make sure that we are open for this. Like as we celebrate the Women's Month this March, we want to honor all our women employees, all our um, Filipinas rather, who
That's
work
right.
so hard for their family. We want to give honor to them. So I know that despite advances in gender equality, women are still underrepresented in many industries and face barriers to career advancement.
Mm.
However, I know that there's hope, and we will explore all these benefits of upskilling for women and how it can empower them to reach their full potential. So, join us as we delve into the topic of women empowerment through upskilling. So,
Yeah.
would you like me to introduce
I,
our
I,
speaker
I,
now, Sir Phil?
yeah. I like what you said, Jamie, about women empowerment. And the thing is that women empowerment can be defined to promote women's sense of self worth, their ability to determine their own choices, and their right to influence social change for themselves and to others. So, I
Right.
mean, a lot of women, when we talk about um, I mean, when we say about self worth, it's one thing that we should not we should always think about. It's a very important factor. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of women have lost their confidence when it comes to self worth, and I think having a topic like this, it's very important, especially when it is also well represented. I mean, for today's episode, we have three guests, which
Yeah, very
also
special.
our employees from Tache.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, yeah, let me introduce our speakers today. We have Cassandra, engineer from Tache, Candy, our accounting department specialist here in Tache, and Miss Cherry Zet, medical EA or VA or office administrator. Wow. Hi, beautiful ladies. Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello,
good
hi.
afternoon.
So our guests for today, they all start with the letter C. Yeah.
All
So we have
right.
Yeah,
Gen Z
that's
show.
always fun.
the Gen Z show. So welcome to the Gen
Yes.
Z show. We have the three C's here, the women, to help us define further about women empowerment. And of course, it's also important. So Jamie will have she has talked about um, when it comes to corporate world, there's still unbalance when it comes to recognition of women. So I think we want to start the discussion first. No, so let's talk about your stories, guys. So, in when you started in the corporate world, how was your experience when it comes to going to the corporate ladder? Was gender an issue, or or is it one of the things that gave you an advantage as you climb up in the corporate world? So yeah, anyone can answer.
I actually started very young, working in the BPO industry. That was my first, real work experience. Before that, I have been working like part times, still trying to see, because at that time when I was looking for work, I'm motivated by high salary. So because
Mm-hmm.
that's the main reason, right, for us to work is to earn more, so that we can support our family, and of course, we can continue in working, for our goals as young women. During that time, I think the biggest challenge, or what I experience is that I feel like I am not fit for the job.
Mm-hmm.
I would always look at the requirements, and there's always, some things that doesn't check, my boxes, and
Okay.
that would always discourage me to go and apply to submit my resume, or
Okay.
to just ping for interview. So yeah, that's always the challenge for me.
Okay. So I mean, but today, Cherry, were you able to adjust already? I mean, was it an issue for you ever since, or was it one thing that you were able to overcome?
Actually, I was able to overcome that hesitation, because there something happened like there's like a year that I really was just dreaming of having a really good salary. I was like, no, I had to get out of this kind of job that I really don't like. I wanted to earn more. I wanted to experience working in a corporate world. So one of my friends pushed me, and she was like, it doesn't matter if your English is not good, you will eventually learn. So I had to go through a lot of interviews. Actually, I failed a lot of interviews. And every time that I would fail, I would always learn from that. Um, I
Oh,
would
that's
always get feedback, right? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think happened? Why I was not accepted? I would always ask my, the people that, my co-applicants. I would always look at them. I'd always, try to imitate some of them if I like the posture, if I like, the way that this applicant is like the way he or she talks. I was just trying to imitate to improve myself. And eventually I realized that I overcame the fear of it doesn't really matter if I think I'm not fit for the job, as long as I seem confident, as long as I sell myself well in front of the interviewer. And then I realized that boom, I'm hired. And
Yeah.
that was the start. That was the start.
you know what?
Like,
We can
But
see your confidence right now. So
yes.
yeah, I love
thank
it.
you.
I love the energy.
Yeah. When you Sherry, when you also shared about your story, there's one person that came into my mind because we're talking about women empowerment here. So there's one person that came into my mind. So Melanie Perkins. So Melanie Perkins is the person behind one of the most popular applications today. It's being used by a lot of freelancers, and it's a game changer when it comes to graphic designing and all. But
Yes.
before all of those things have happened, she got a lot of rejections. She went to different investors, venture capitalists by the hundreds of rejections day on day. She got to be rejected until one day someone gave her a go signal. Okay, I'll invest into your company, and today the company is one of the most it's not a startup anymore, but it's one of the most popular companies today in the especially in the freelancing field. If you're a freelancer, you know this app. So it's Canva. So the person behind Canva is also a Filipina, so part
Women.
Filipina. So yeah,
Yeah.
so we're talking about women empowerment. So Melanie Perkins. So it's that's one thing that I get to relate to when you shared about your story. So let's go to the other ladies. So Cassie and Candy. So anything I want to share when it comes to your as you enter the career in the corporate world. So anything about how we were able to adjust, or were there are there any stories behind was a gender an issue, what to overcome such things? So anyone can answer. So yeah.
So,
Okay, so we have
Candy.
yes,
okay,
yes,
Candy.
yes.
Okay, Candy.
So, a trivia, a little trivia. This is my first time working in a corporate world, so this is something that I would adjust myself. Like, I got culture shock at first, of course, since I came from a small town and a small company. My first job was at our small town in a mining company. So luckily, working in Tache, here in Tache, um, being a woman um, doesn't affect my work or um, my career here. My I want to grow. I mean, I can see myself growing here in Tacha, because I can able to cope up with different type of people, different type of co-workers, like that. So um I was a very sheltered person before, but now I challenge myself that I need to cope up more here in Tache. So Tache is helping me building my self growth as a
There's no
woman.
discrimination in Tache. Yes.
Yes.
It's, yeah.
So thank you for that, Kenny. So for those who don't know yet what Tachi is, I mean we're a company that helps a lot of Filipinos when it comes to offshore career opportunity. So if let's say you want to work with global companies or companies who are that are based overseas, and you want to have an experience, let's say you want to climb up in the corporate ladder, regardless if you want to work on a hybrid setup, a work in the office setup, or even a remote work setup, we give those opportunities to you. So for those who are interested, we have all of the job positions open. So you get to see that down there. So you get to see the job positions that we have. You just have to go to our Facebook page, or you can just go to our social media pages and contact one of our recruitment officers. So just have to prepare a resume with you. So yeah, so let's go now. To, I mean, sorry, it's a little bit of a ano lang, commercial. So Cassie, how about you, Cassie?
Yes, hi. As for me, I'm a civil engineer, so it's quite a career with man-made, with
Yeah.
the population has a man in majority. So, um, one thing I've always had a challenge of is I've noticed that when we're in a setup, we're in a meeting, women always are assigned with tasks to take care of the details like logistics, documents, coordinations, acquisitions. So I've had the challenge of I had to push myself to really ask for tasks that I want to learn because
Mm-hmm.
it's often assigned to men. That this was during the time when I was still working in the construction industry. I was there for I think almost 3 years. So and then there has been quite a number of instances where I've been communicating with someone, setting up a meeting for them, and then when we finally meet, I get the reaction of, "Oh, you're a woman." Like I've been
Wow.
yeah, like they have a different impression of my communication in text or messages than when we I appear in front of them as a woman. So yeah, it has been quite a challenge to really be seen as just just an equal. And then here in Tacha, I've really appreciated that regardless of your gender really, you're handling the same responsibilities, the same jobs, and you're meeting the same expectations. So yeah, I really appreciate the different pace of Tacha than my previous industry.
Yeah, so
That's so
I like what you said. I like what you said. I mean, you're an engineer, and of course, you know that it's a male-dominated industry, and still you were able to overcome those things. And of course, I'm also curious, what was your boss reaction when you asked for more tasks than as expected of you? So,
Yeah, well, it was often a time of, sir, could I try this? Could I handle this? Or maybe like I have someone who's assigned to me, and then my boss assigned him directly the job or the task. Then I have to ask, sir, could I maybe supervise this or have a touch on this so I could also see for myself what's happening with my project. Yeah, so yeah, I really have to push myself sometimes to be
okay,
seen. Yeah.
okay,
right. And I think, it's important for employers and society as a whole to recognize this kind of challenges and, work towards creating more inclusive and supportive workplaces. And I'm really for women, and I'm really glad that Tacha gave that to us. I know we don't experience this anymore, especially in Tacha, but I I mean, I want this interview really to, you know as an outlet for women to be heard. So, what do you think are some of the most common challenges that women face in the workplace as of today?
Should I?
yeah. Anyone, Cassie, sige,
Okay.
what is
Well,
it?
Yeah.
quite a number of things come to mind actually. So the first thing was what I mentioned earlier. So there's,
Mm-hmm.
although I myself personally, I do enjoy handling tasks. Taking care of details, uh, seeing small details. It's quite fulfilling to me to see things that I was only seeing in plans and discussions be realized. It's quite fulfilling to me, but it's fulfilling, but it's also limiting in a way because
Mm-hmm.
you're quite boxed in what you're capable of. So yeah, so as I said earlier, you have to push quite a lot to be given
Right.
tasks. Yeah, because
So
they
like
seem
basically you
sorry.
need to prove yourself more, right?
Yeah, somehow. Well, being an introvert doesn't really help the case. So it's quite a challenge for me to push myself out there.
Yeah,
How about
exactly.
you, Cherry?
Well, I actually quite a lot of challenges came into mind,
Mm-hmm.
based on my personal experience. But the most common, I think, that I have encountered before Tache, is that the gender, pay gap. Um, I've experienced it. Couple of times I was shocked when, I was hired and I was offered a very, minimal salary. And then when I talked to, other people,
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that, we have the same task, we have the same position, but they were offered, a higher, pay than me. So, it really made me question, my worth as a woman, like why, what happened, was my interview not good, or did I fail something that I didn't get the same pay. And um and then I realized that it's really very let's say rampant thing that they're doing in the corporate world, that
Mm-hmm.
women are seen as as someone that's not going to stay for long, because they would always think that women, they're going to get married, they're if you're married, you're going to get pregnant, then you will eventually have to take care of kids. So it's like you cannot focus on work anymore, so it's like they don't want to invest in you more, so that's it. But I can't just accept, that
Yeah.
that that fact, right? That principle. So I realized that, why stay, in that kind of company. And that's when I started to dig deeper. Before I would apply, I would actually research the background of this company, and then eventually I got into Tache. And at this age, and then someone who had ample experience, I was quite hesitant at first, but then what made me really like during, Tasha, during the interview, is that they did not question me about my age, about my experience, with other companies. They focused on my strengths, on what exactly I can provide, what are the things that they think would be perfect, for the role. And they focused on my potential, like, because it's something that not a lot of people actually does, because usually when you talk to people, they're like focused on experience, on previous things, or what they think they can get from you, not what they can actually cultivate you to become, something, or what you can be like when you grow in the company, right? So that's what I really liked during that time, during the interview. And I was like, oh, this is new, this is really new, it's a new experience. So yeah, so that's how I was able to say that those challenges that came into mind, it it was something that I had to go through for me to be able to be smart in choosing the right company, choosing the right employers, because the salary, or the gender pay gap, um like it's something that, yes, everyone knows about it, but you can do something about it. Like,
Right.
you don't have to stay
Correct.
if it doesn't, you're not really, I mean, wala kang utang na loob, like, yes, na hire ka, pinagtrabahuhan mo yan, girl, 'di ba? So, 'di ba, maghanap ka ng iba, like, you deserve better, right? And then I think another thing that came into mind, it's a little bit sensitive, but it's I've encountered it personally, would be sexual harassment at work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a very sad fact. um you know um no matter how old you are, no matter how you dress, no matter what sexual preference, um, there will always be, like, let's say, um, someone that I have talked to. during just like casual conversation, would always open up about
Mhm.
being harassed, about hearing something, or getting those kind of looks from other people. It's really sad, and it's kind of frustrating sometimes that the people who has the authority to really address that issue would rather um, turn the other way around, like would rather kind of dismiss that, like you're a woman, you're just emotional, yung bang ano lang yan, feeling mo lang yan, parang ganon,
Mm,
parang feelingan ka lang girl, parang ganyan, parang nagmamaganda ka, parang ganon, pero hindi hindi talaga,
it really happens. Yeah.
'di ba?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, well, sad to hear that one. So, I mean, yeah, there will be some officers that will have that kind of, well, some office mates that will have that kind of attitude. But we're happy that you were able to find something better. Well, of course, through Tache, that's one thing that's we're happy for you to get to discover. And at the same time, we're talking about gender inequality. It's one thing that is not present in the culture of the company in Tache. So that's also one of the things that we're proud of as part of the organization, right? So yeah, how about you, Candy?
How? As for me, this is not as big deal as anyone. I mean, this is not as big deal as what Miss Cherry shared earlier. Where one of the challenges that I always observed is that women undergo physical pain while on their period, and that affects their performance at work. And then I I I observed that this is one of the most challenges that women face in the workplace, because I have a friend that got fired for the reason that she has a dysmenorrhea every month. So I mean, it's so sad that just
Yeah.
because of the dysmenorrhea, you get fired. So I guess that's it.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
Yeah.
that's one thing that a lot of employers should also consider. I mean, you just don't look on the one shortcoming of a person. I mean, if you're going to look on the performance of your employees, you just
Yeah.
don't look on one weakness point for you to judge on what will be the future of this person to the organization. So I mean that's one thing common. It's one thing that we should if you're an employer, that's one thing that we should always consider.
Yeah.
And when it comes
Mm.
to women leadership, well, I want to talk about women leadership. When talking about women leadership, it's also one thing that is not so present when it comes to Philippine businesses. Has in well, what we have in the country, we don't have that much women leaders. But what you get to look on once we get to have someone that gets to lead or an organization, it gets to stand out from the rest. So let's have an example. Let's say Gcash. So Gcash is one of the organizations, one of the company that has been standing up through the years. It's yes, of course, it's backed up by Globe. But if you're going to look further, what made Gcash more popular today is the leadership of its leader. So, which is also a woman. So, Martha Sasson, she's one of those women that have shown everybody that regardless of gender, we can lead a company to become a billion peso, $1 billion worth organization. So, I mean, gone are the days that men should always be the leaders when it comes to leading a corporation, leading a team, leading the company. We have to realize that when it comes to the corporate world, everything should be judged fairly. I mean, for me, it's not an issue if my boss is a woman. I mean, I like it more because when you have a woman leader, they're very direct to the point, and at the same time, you guys um, I mean, you guys have one goal to, or you guys have one thing that want
Mhm.
to accomplish. And I mean, hindi masyado yung bola. When you become a woman leader, it's one thing that it's more distinguished as compared to men leaders. So that's, I mean, that's for me. How about you, Jane?
Sorry, I'm quite emotional. But I'm really glad that some of us won't be able to experience these challenges. But let's face it, majority of women experience that. And addressing these challenges that women face in the workplace requires a multifaceted approach that involves management and the company itself. I believe by taking these actions, we can create a more inclusive and supportive workplace that promotes gender equality and empowers women to reach their full potential. Um, yeah, as mentioned, it's important for women to feel empowered in their workplace, as it can lead to increased job satisfaction, career advancement, and overall well-being. So my next question would be: how do you feel empowered in your current role right now, and what factors contribute to your sense of empowerment?
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a great question, Jamie, because um, right now in my role, I feel like um, I'm heard. My opinion matters because I'm being asked about, my feedback, like how do you feel about the workload right now? Like how do you feel, about, being trained into something different than, the role that you expected. So um it's something that is kind of yung nakakataba ng puso, 'di ba? Yung parang you realize that you matter, like they value you, like they want to take care of you, like how you want to be treated, right? And now this is actually happening. And sometimes, I'm also grateful that I had a mentor before in my previous work. Yung boss ko, like she's a very tough woman. She's, sinabi nga ni Floy kanina na yung straightforward, yung walang bola, walang paligoy-ligoy, yung when when she commits a mistake, she owns up to it, right? And of course we all know that's integrity, and that's what I learned from her. That having integrity in everything that you do, owning up to things that you when you mess up, or even when you something that when you did something that you actually did not mean to hurt someone, but you still own up to it. It's very, it's very kind of for me, um it 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 kind of puts you in a position where people will start trusting you, right? They will actually look up to you, that you yourself have become a standard, right? So yun yung gustong gusto ko sa role ko ngayon,
Mhm.
like that integrity, that level of trust. And just because they really like, your opinion matters and they listen to you. So
Yes,
yeah.
I totally agree with that, Miss Cherry. Because by active listening and validating, experiences, creating a safe and respectful environment for women, and avoiding dismissal or trivializing concerns, we can help women to really, make them feel heard and
Yeah.
respected in the workplace. So I
Yeah.
totally agree with you on that. How about Miss Kendi?
Yeah, so same as Miss Cherry, I feel empowered in my current role when I am able to stand up for myself, or when my opinions are not only heard but also valued at work. Then some of the factors that contributes to my sense of empowerment is our very own head in accounting, which is also a woman. I admired her for her patience, hard work, discipline, and on how she managed to handle us, her team. I mean, she's helping one of us to be the best in our different fields. I also miss my mama so much because she's been my
Oh,
inspiration
Yeah.
and being patient in this world that full of toxicity, like a very toxic world. And I just remind myself, be kind, be patient. I miss my mama so much.
hi, Mama.
Yeah.
Shout out. Hi, Mama.
Hi, ma.
Hi,
How
ma.
about you, Miss Cassie?
The same with Miss Sherry and Miss Candy. I agree that representation really matters a lot because I also had a supervisor in my previous job that has a no nonsense attitude. She has no patience. So for nonsense really. So that's I always take note from her how I address things, how I open up about what I think, how I present my ideas. I've always taken note at from her. So I've I'm a great factor of my communication skills or my capability to share my ideas is from her because she always encourages us to be open. She always asks us, "What do you think of this? What do you think of that? Do you think this is feasible for us? Do you think this is doable?" She always asks for our input directly, not just as a general. And I'm also seeing that in touch right now. Everyone has an equal opportunity to share their ideas, their opinions on matters of workflow and whatnot. So that's and two things. So two things I really think contributes to my sense of empowerment is that I am not a one-dimensional person, or I'm not a one-dimensional being, and that I can also contribute to others, and that's how I see that. Oh, my ideas matter, my opinions matter, they make a difference. So it's also knowing that I am a growing and developing individual, and on top of all that, I am a mother, a wife, a friend, a sister, and a daughter, and a professional. It's really
Yeah.
empowering, to know that, oh hey, I could share my ideas and let others grow as well. That my different facets of myself could be shared and others could benefit from it. They could learn from it also. That I'm not just a follower and that women could also lead and be an inspiration.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love that. I
Right.
love that.
exactly.
And
That's
I
right.
will base this next question from your answers. According to Monique Lorraine, yes, queens, and I totally agree. These ladies are all queens. And as mentioned, I am basing this next question from your answers. You've mentioned about the women leaders, and women leaders can make a positive impact in their organizations and communities and inspire future generations of women leaders. So, my question would be, what skills or qualities do you think are essential for women leaders and how can they cultivate them?
Could I
Start to you,
Um,
Go,
Miss.
Cassie.
should I start? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I
Go,
actually
go.
have three things to three factors that I say are essential for women leaders. One, as importantly, is that they are visionaries. They should have a bigger picture. They should always have a goal in mind. They should always know where they want to take the organization in the next months, in the next
Mhm.
year, in the next few years. And they should also be able to translate that into plans that's realistic and feasible and sustainable for everybody in the organization. Because a plan that's too heavy for everyone is not really would rarely translate to reality. And second is that a leader, I think, should be able to empower others. They should they should have a goal of not just the growth of the organization, but also to empower individuals in their charge to continue upskilling or learning for their overall development really. Because I'm sure none of us wants to be the same person we are right now in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years. It's always important to grow. So it's essential for leaders to always
Correct.
empower everyone, right? Because like I have a leader that in my previous job and I haven't seen her for years, right? But I'm still looking up to her. I still keep her in mind. I still keep the things that I've learned from her in mind. So yeah, it's important for leaders to really empower their subordinates. And last thing I think is most important, not just for women but for any leaders, I hope, is that they have the ability to empathize. They have they have a high emotional intelligence. Um, yeah, because each of us have varying capacity to handle things, right? We react to things differently. So I think a leader who knows how to take a step back and calm down and not let all the high emotions take a hold of him or her, it's really important because a workplace that's that has too much heavy emotions, has too much unexpressed emotions, is really a toxic one. And often, more often than not, I've seen it happen. Really, employees don't really stay too long in a toxic environment. So yeah, it's important. It's really important for leaders to be able to empathize with their subordinates also.
Yeah. Totally. Well, I agree with what you said there. I mean, when it comes to empathy, it's one thing that's very common to women leaders. In my own experience, I get to work with a lot of employers already, and when it comes to comparing women to men leaders, yes, women leaders are you guys have more of like that sense of empathy, sense of heart. I mean, that's one thing that is I always notice. When it comes to, let's say, you have a problem, and let's say if it's a personal problem, for example, and a lot of times if you have your own boss who's a man, you'll have that hesitations to give your tell about your personal problem. Although yes, of course, sir, it's your personal problem, so you're supposed to handle it on your own, right? But there are also times when you just want. There's instances that you also want to be heard, no, and it will also help you to also become more productive at times. And then the difference is that if you get to compare, if you get to tell your story to your boss who's a guy, you'll have that hesitation kasi nga you will think na baka iba yung maging impression sa'yo. Unlike when you get to talk to a woman, a woman who will try to hear your story. Ma- I mean, the difference is that ano siya eh, it's one thing na hindi lang siya tatanggapin ng boss mo. It's also one thing that your boss will also try to explain to you on what's happening. I mean that's one difference when it comes to having a leader who's a woman compared to a man. So that's one thing that I realized. So yeah, I get to agree with you there, Cass. How about the other girls?
If I may add, I think the skills or the things that women leaders should have. Number one that would always come into mind though is that you don't need to act like a man to
Yes.
right, like when you're a
Mhm.
leader, people would always expect for you to act like a man, like suppress your emotion, like
Mm.
I'm a girl. I have emotions. I'm in touch of my emotions 24/7, right? It's like it's impossible. So that's the number one thing. Like for you to be an effective leader,
True.
for you to to create an environment of growth, an environment of a very nurturing environment, and a very safe environment. you have to be a woman because that's what we are. We were created, to take care of families, to take care of babies. Like, that's motherly
Mhm.
instinct. We are very receptive, right? So I think that would make us effective leaders, not just a very good leader, but very effective leaders, right? Because if you are in touch of your femininity, or I don't know what they call it these days. It will actually inspire more women, right?
Yeah.
You will start to create that environment where women would also look at themselves, at their
Mhm.
potential, because you started being a woman, and look where it got you. You became a leader, you inspired people, you were able to reach out to these women, and for me, it's already a feat, it's already a victory, right?
Right.
Being a woman, as and also being a leader, right? So yeah, it's a win-win situation. Like, you don't have to be what they always say, like, one of the guys. No, no,
Yes,
girl, just
totally
be a
agree. I
queen.
totally agree with that. Yeah, I agree. Women should not have to act like men to be recognized and be respected. And we should value and celebrate diversity in the workplace and create an inclusive culture that values unique perspective and contributions from everyone. So thank you for that, Mr. I feel empowered today. I don't know why. Number three, thank you guys so much for sharing your thoughts with us. How about you, Miss Candy?
Yeah, so as we know, women are always tagged as very emotional. So for me, women leaders should be emotionally intelligent to be able to think clearly and provide good ideas and decisions. So, and then women leaders must also have the determination, willingness to learn new things, and confidence. And then to cultivate these qualities, women leaders must find a mentor because women do better when they have a mentor that is guiding and supporting their perspective and decisions. Then, moreover, as a leader, they must also master the role of being the mentor to their teammates, as that is one of the way to prove that women is capable of being a good leader too. So we're capable of being a good leaders. Fighting.
Yes.
I like that. So emotional intelligence, right?
All right, so we have like 10 minutes left. I want to.
Oh, 10 minutes na lang pala. Okay.
It's so
Masarap
fast.
yung kwentuhan natin. Okay, go. Go, go.
But here's another question, because I know this is one of the challenges of being a women employee or a career woman. Balancing work and family responsibilities I know can be a challenge for many women, especially those with young children or elderly parents to take care for. How can a woman balance work and family responsibilities, and what support can employers provide to help them do so?
um
Mm, could I? Okay,
yes,
Miss
go
Chair.
ahead, Cassie.
Go, go ahead. Go ahead, guys. Anyone who feels like answering, you guys get the
Okay.
answer. You go.
For me personally, I think the most important thing to consider to start discussion about balancing work and family responsibilities is to promote financial security for women. I am the youngest of three daughters, and my mom was a single mom growing up, and she has always reminded us that we should always have our own money. We should always be financially capable and should not rely on anyone to provide. And I am seeing this for myself right now that I am a young mom and a wife, that financial security opens a lot of avenues for women. And now as a woman who has capabilities to spend for herself, really, I have more. I'm capable of exploring more hobbies, more interests, and when I am with my family, there's no worry at the back of my mind like, oh, in the next month, where are we gonna get this? Where are we gonna get that? Because I have also seen the effect of parents who have financial constraints, right? Like they
Yeah.
have short tempers, they are easily triggered, and they just create a toxic home for their kids. And I have seen a number of individuals from households like these that are quite unhealthy when they become adults. So, and the best thing I think that employers could address this is to provide good and equal pay for men and women, and also to provide ample time off so we could also spend it with our families, right? Because what's a good pay if you don't have time for them, right? So, yeah, like just to add to my point, like last year, my husband had to be admitted for dengue fever, and on a separate occasion, my son had to be admitted for dehydration. And I'm just really grateful that I have enough paid time off so I could focus my mind and my energy on taking care of them and helping them get better. So I don't have to worry how my absences could affect my finances in the next month or so. So that's really a great thing to have when you have a family to take care of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to be financially more secured. I mean, so that's
Yeah.
one thing that I learned from Cass there. So yes,
Yeah.
about Sherry or Ken.
I really agree with Cassie. Let's be real. Like balancing work and, personal life, like having a personal life or, it's more on, knowing your boundaries when work is, should be work and when it should end. Right. I didn't actually, I'm that's why I was kind of really laughing because I was really bad at that, like for a couple of years. I would get
Mm-hmm.
up at, you know, um, ungodly hours to reply to my boss because I know that she's a workaholic and she actually couldn't sleep until she gets confirmation that we are able to finish a task. So I kind of, got pulled into her routine and it was not good. It actually did not have a very good effect, physically, mentally, and then that's when I actually realized the importance of self-care and the importance of boundaries. Like I it gave me courage to talk to my boss, really talk to her about what we should avoid, and then at first of course it was hard for me to explain to her, because that's Filipino culture, right? We were trained not to yung bang, parang yes man, yes woman,
Yeah.
parang ganon, 'di ba? Like pag nagreklamo ka, parang ikaw pa yung may kasalanan. Bakit parang kasalanan ko pa na 'di
Yes.
ba nag-overtime ako, hindi ako binayaran, nagalit ako, baka kasalanan ko pa, parang gano'n. So,
Mhm.
we were trained, but as I got into a lot of experiences at work, it made me realize that nothing's gonna happen to me if I keep on just being a yes woman, an employee that everyone can just pull into their routine without compensating me well, right? Without even respecting my time. That's actually the word that I was looking for. Respect. They should actually respect your boundaries, and that's your personal time, right? So that's how we balance, because if you actually cannot, if you yourself doesn't have a clear image of what your boundaries are, it's also hard, right,
Right. Right.
to decide on when to stop, right? So yeah, so the very basic thing that we need to do is be clear of where our boundaries are when it comes to work and personal life. And I'm actually happy, I just wanted to share something from what happened in Tache. We were actually given a lot of opportunity to really speak out about mental health because they value, that we are mentally stable and we are, focused well on our job. And I really appreciate that. I'm really surprised of a lot of good things that, that's happening in my life, that, I was assured that, I would have a good pay by logging in on time and logging out on time. And I
Right.
am still, being actually mentored for promotion. Even I
Wow.
am logging in on time and logging out on time. Like, I don't have to go on overtime, for me to be recognized. Like, it's
Yes.
happening.
Hmm.
Women
That's
out
nice.
there, yeah, you can log out on time and log in on time and being paid and still get promoted. It's
Yes.
possible.
Yeah.
Yes. How about you, Miss
Agree.
Kenzie?
I guess they say it all now. Like, pero for me, it's a matter of self-discipline. This applies to everybody, not only to women. Like, you have to have a self-discipline. Like, if you're working for uh, Mondays to Fridays, then work Mondays to Fridays. You have to enjoy yourself, especially for me, since I am a sheltered person before. So now I'm enjoying myself. Like, during rest days, I will really use my rest days to enjoy, to go outside like that. So everybody, this applies to everybody, not only for women. Enjoy your rest days. So, what
Yes.
employers can do is to give us enough of time or enough of rest days to,
Mhm.
to refresh our mind, to have better ideas when going back to work like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, time check. It's already 5:58. But before we, again, I still want more. But I think this will be my last question. It's important for women to believe in themselves. Seek out support and opportunities. Continuously learn and grow. Advocate for themselves. What advice would you give to other women who are starting their careers or trying to advance in their field? That will be our last question for today.
I think for me, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to get rejected. Those rejections, those mistakes that you're gonna commit, learn from it, grow from it, develop yourself. Like, develop, what envision yourself. And, you know everything will actually, it's like a domino effect. If you get that, that small step, it will eventually lead you to where you want to be. So,
Right.
yeah, that's it.
How about you, Miss Candy?
For me, you just to have that. You just have to build confidence within, because that cannot be shared by you, by your friends or your coworkers. You need to believe in yourself, have that
Right.
confidence. Like, if you if that means like you have to cope up with your coworkers, your anyone in your office, so you must. I mean, there's so much to learn. You don't have to be afraid na, like what Miss Cherry said, na do not afraid na magka-mistake tayo, no?
Right.
Yeah.
How about you, Miss Cassie?
I think the as a woman starting to in an industry, you always have to really know yourself, know your worth, and know what you want really, because that way you could find your community, right? So you also have to be bold and courageous to test your limits and push yourselves, push your boundaries that you see right now, because there's gonna be highs and lows. So you
Right.
have to see
Yeah.
which where am I strong at, where's my weakness. So you have to prepare for your highs and lows. So you have to be bold and courageous to just continue, be persistent in your goal. So always know what you want, so you don't lose track, so you don't lose your path. So, and last thing is that be compassionate to others. Always be your authentic self, and you'll find that people of the same ideals with you would attract to you. and you're gonna form a community that feeds off of your individual strengths, and you're gonna help each other grow, because that's what I am personally finding right now, that community, wherever you are, especially in the workplace, because we spend
Right.
most of our times here, a healthy community that really encourages you to be better, to go, to push yourself, to develop. It really makes the difficult part of your job lighter.
Right. And just to add, Sir Fly, sorry, I
Oh,
think choosing a good company to work for women can be very important, as it can, help them to feel supported, valued, and empowered in their careers. And I believe Thatcher will be that company you're looking for.
Yeah.
Um, and I believe these beautiful girls, ladies right here, already proved it. So if you're interested, again, if you're interested to join Thatcher, kindly follow our social media pages and visit the link we will be showing in the screen. And we will also put that in our comment sections. If you want to
okay.
feel empowered, go to Thatcher.
Yes. I just want to add up this one because I learned from our ladies here. So as what Cassie mentioned, we need to as a woman, you need to be financially stable. You need to be financially wise. So one thing that I love with what Kenny said, you as a woman leader, even though women are emotional, you need to have that emotional intelligence. That's one thing. It's very brilliant. And what Cherry said, don't be a yes woman. No, so that's one thing. Don't be a yes woman. You need to have your own voice as a woman. Now, those are the things that I learned from our guest for today. It's one thing that I'm privileged to hear from our lady guest for today. And thank you for
Thank
making this episode fruitful. It's we have 237. Well, we have I think around 250 plus, 260 plus viewers right now. So in Kumu and of course in our Facebook channel, our Facebook page. So again, thank you to our ladies for joining us in our today's episode of Women Empowerment. Women Empowerment through upskilling, closing the gender gap in the workspace. So once again, this is the Gen Z Show. With me is Jamie. My name is Floyd. Thank you for joining us in the Gen Z Show. We'll see you next Monday. Communicants to our Facebook followers. See you next Monday. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, ladies.
Thank
thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
you.